Hi guys, it's time for us once again, and today we're gonna be taking a look at this guy right here, which is the first grade Gundam Virtue. Okay, now cue the opening for this channel. First off, the box art really does look great. Now of course this is another first grade by the company DIY right there. Now of course, being that this is another bootleg, you might expect it to have the same quality as Gundam Exia. In fact, when you zoom in, the Gundam Exia is right over there. So you could say that this is the first line of this thing, but no, it's actually the fourth one in terms of actual lineage. Because this is the number 4 right there, as you can see there. Flipping it to this side is also the Gundam Virtue itself once again. Over here you can see its pilot there, Terria Hardy, with the back of the first grade already painted. Some information on the Gundam Virtue, and it says here it's 18.4 meters. We'll see how tall it is actually. 66.7 tons. That explains why the body is big. Right here. Same cover art again. To this side, it's kind of a bit interesting because you get to see the plates list right there. But also you can see here that they show you the unpainted version of the Gundam Virtue here, which they did not show with the Gundam Exia. So this is a bit confusing as to why this one is shown to have the original cover art for the first grade, and unlike the first grade Exia. Flipping to this side is what you've seen already, number 1518. Made in China, and don't give it to a kid, please. So with that said and done, let's get into this figure itself. So there is the Gundam Virtue out of the box, snap build with a bit of panel lining. And when I say a bit, I mean actually a lot. I actually custom painted this thing once again, just like the Exia, but I did not do the extreme overhaul like how I did with the Gundam Exia. Now if I flip this kit to the side, you can see that I actually panel lined a lot of this kit. But at the back, I did not do anything, and it decides to fall over. Okay, now focusing on the back here, it's mainly just black. So if you're hoping for the white skirting just like the high grade, you're not gonna get it. Also, this GN drive here is black. You won't even notice it that this thing is entirely black, and you can't really see this GN drive, which is a bit of a missed opportunity though. It could be a separate part, but that's how it is. Also, we'll flip to the other side again. You can see that most of this kit is chubby, which is, I wouldn't say a bad thing, it's actually a good thing. So breaking down the parts that I have painted though, this cheek here I painted it, and this part here on the crotch I also painted it. These GN drives right here I did paint them, and the rest of here is basically just panel lines. Now if you have noticed already that the green part right here on the forehead and these golden stickers on the vents, they are stickers. And those are the stickers I actually used. The rest of the stickers, however, well, they are present. Mainly just the red ones and the black ones for the GN drives. I should also forget to mention that the sides of the ears right there, those are also panel lined or filled in with a black marker. Now mostly these stickers are not that bad. The eye stickers, they are okay. Now you might be wondering what these yellow stickers are, and like I said with the first grade Exia, link in the description if you want to read that or want to see that these yellow stickers are additional for DIY Delo's take on the first grade. So yeah, if you want the Virtues to have even more color, you can add on these yellow stickers. They mostly go on the feet though, like this part here and this part here. Okay, now that we've covered all of the aesthetics, let's take a look at weapons. This is it. It's one big black bazooka. The bazooka itself is actually pretty big. You can see it's big here. It's 3D. Now, of course, being black is not all that great. Although from this angle you can see there's a lot of panel lines there. You can paint them. Also, it has two handles, one being in this form and one in this mode. And you might be wondering, why are those handles there? Well, if you have the Virtue in this position, you can use this handle and just slide it in like so, and he can hold it pretty well, unless if you were to sweep it to the left and right, because this handle is pretty thin, and that's why I put some sellotape here. And the reason for that is If you use that angled handle, you can pull off the bazooka pose. And the bazooka pose is where I needed this sellotape so that it will be much more tighter in the hand. Also, I should mention that the sticker is used all right there. Okay, now that we've taken a look at accessories and aesthetics, let's take a look at the posability. So the head here is on a ball joint, so it can look not that far up, but he can look down pretty much okay. From this side it does look down pretty good, but up not that much. It can't do a full rotation because the cheeks are a bit fat, so this is all you get left. Right, that's all you get. And these parts right here, they cannot fold in. Now the shoulder connecting here is actually on a pretty good forward and back motion, although because this thing is black you can't even see it properly. Now the arms here are connected to a double ball joint, so they can move like this and off. So like I said, the arms can rotate, but they will bump into the backpack right here, so you might want to be careful. And the arms themselves can move out just slightly there. Move that any further and you will eventually just get rid of the arm. Now the bend at the elbow, surprise surprise, it's even better than the Exia. It can do a 90-degree, but the hands as usual, they are not articulated whatsoever. Now moving to the back there, you can see that this part here does not move, sadly, but these parts right here, they can move because they are on ball joints. They can swing and they can move out a little bit. And if you angle them correctly like this, you can do this kind of pose. Now the waist, there is no movement whatsoever. Front skirts don't move up, side skirts don't move up, back skirts, they don't move. And this is pretty bad. But unlike the first grade Exia, there is a way you can bring the legs forward. Now from this angle, you can see that the legs will bump up to this, but if you angle them out a little bit and bring them forward, you can pull off this kind of kick, which is okay. Now to the back, not much. Out to the sides, pretty good. There is a bit of thigh swivel right there. Now the bend at the knee, unlike the Exia, this is way better. Somewhat of a 90-degree, but it's much more better than the Exia. If you feel it for yourself, it is. Now the feet here, you may not notice them because from this angle they are pretty stubby. So they can rotate a 360-degree. They can do a side-to-side pivot, much more free range, and move up and down, and you can shift them forward for even more down action. And yeah, the articulation is pretty good. So for size comparisons, here's the Virtue next to the Gundam Exia, and also next to the high-grade RX-78-2. Next, here he is next to Ultraman Ginga and the teeny tiny Lego Spider-Man, which you may not notice due to the background. Also, I forgot to mention, the Virtue does come with this action base similar to that of the Exia. So that is it for the review. So what's my verdict for the Gundam Virtue? Well, if you ever saw my first grade Gundam Exia review, you know that this thing is lacking in articulation and color accuracy. However, unlike the Gundam Exia, I feel like the Virtue is well planned by Bandai. Of course, this is by DIY Delo, but when we take a look at the original first grade from Bandai, from the first release, which is this guy right here, the Gundam Virtue is surprisingly much more playable than the Gundam Exia. Of course, this being a chubby boy means that the articulation cannot be great, but the articulation on this guy is much more better than the Gundam Exia. Mainly because maybe the design of the Virtue is much more simpler and a lot more joints were incorporated with this. I don't know, but the Virtue is a lot more playable than the Gundam Exia. However, because this is the first grade, I can't really recommend it because honestly, I bought the Virtue just to complete the first grade set. For those of you who really want a Gundam Virtue, the high grade is much more better in terms of articulation and color accuracy. In fact, if you want it even bigger, you can get a 1/100 Gundam Virtue. And hopefully there's gonna be a master grade of this in the future. But for positives, This kit is perfect for beginners because it has a pretty nice build. And for those of you who want to experiment on custom painting, this kit does the job well. You can custom paint this whatever you want for experiments. Also, I forgot to mention that this kit does come with an action base, and it is pretty cool because this kit does fail on the ground, but you can pose him in the air with the action base. So what is my final thoughts on this? Yes, I do recommend it, but at the same time, you can do a lot more better than this first grade. Sure, you can say this is like a, extra bonus when you want to buy Gunpla or just want to have a simple build. I do recommend it for the build and customizability. However, for those of you who want great articulation and better color accuracy, I think you better look somewhere else. Anyway, this was Time Floss, and I'll see you in the next review. Take care, guys.